Hello, hello, hello. It's Jen Hall here, and I'm usually like really excited to be here and have beautiful things to share. But today, sometimes it's just one of those times where you just go, "It's okay for things to not be okay," and we're so indoctrinated. I've been listening to um, two really great books lately. One is called "Worthy" by Jamie Kern Lima, and she does such a beautiful job of turning things into positives. Rejection being God's protection. So true. Think about it, guys. If you had married your dream boat in high school, sometimes that works out, but sometimes, thank God for unanswered prayers, right? So sometimes when we think it's supposed to be a certain way, it's not. It creates something in us that we think just sucks, like rejection. You put yourself out there, you want to be a part of things, but when you don't have a seat at the table, sometimes you got to go build your own, which has been the case for me in a lot of times in my life, where I'm wanting to do it a certain way, or I'm wanting to do a certain thing, and like my ass just keeps getting handed to me over and over and over, and I'm like, do they not like me? What is happening? And I'm like, but it is. Rejection is God's protection. But that's not what today is about. Today is about when it just goes sideways and it sucks. And I'm not talking about somebody cutting you off in traffic, or you get in a speeding ticket, or I mean like something real. There's been a lot going on lately. A dear friend of mine lost a horse last night to colic, and there's 70 horses out in Oklahoma that were poisoned somehow by a medication that's given to cattle and through their feed. That is toxic to horses. 70 horses, you guys. And this, from what the story is that these people have been, have lineage of horses. They have breeding stock that now these bloodlines are decimated, from this one farm and this one incident. And so you look at the things that you have going on in your life, and you go, I'm pretty small. I'm just a tiny, tiny cog in the wheel of this whole great thing called life. And one of the things I encourage you to do when you're feeling like that is to just go outside and honestly just look up, like that dumb movie with Jennifer Lawrence, like just look up, and it reminds us like how sincerely insignificant yet also significant that we are, like how powerful yet how powerless we are. And no matter what we think we have going on, most of the times, if you've ever done like one of those like scuba things where you put your face in the water in a scuba mask and you like snorkeling and you're looking around, like all you can see is what is right there in your mask. And in the horse world, they call them blinkers or blinders. So they can't see around, see what's going on around them, because it would be too much. It would be too much for them to be able to focus on what they're trying to do. And that's what happens with us and our lives and our situations. And I mean, for those of you that know me, I'm in the horse world. My guys, they're actually in the barn today, instead of up here today, because I was doing other things. But normally my horses are out here, and you guys know that I'm about everything horse in my world, right? But helping horses help people. Like that's the vision of what I'm doing, helping horses help people. And when you lose a horse or you lose something, it's like pulling a tooth. You have that gap, and you put your tongue out for a while until it starts to close up and heal, right? But one of my friends, was shared with me one time, and I so love this analogy, especially in days like today, in circumstances like this. When one door opens, another one closes, but sometimes it sure is hell in the hallway. And what I mean, and what she meant by that was, the door closed, and while you're trying to figure out why they rejected you, or why, this death occurred, or what is happening, when you're in the state of confusion or going through the grieving process or a transformational process, you are in that hallway looking for the next door, the gift in the lesson, the message there, the guidance in some way, shape, or form. And so as much as I love Jamie's book and everything she has to say, it's just she's so elegant in her communication. I followed it up with reading a book incidentally recommended to me, and I've read it before. It's just been a several years. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck And it's a great book. And yes, I drop F bombs once in a while, not as often as I used to, but it's a great book. And I'm listening to it. And one of the things he says is like, don't try and Pollyanna it all the time. That's me. Like, I actually have friends calling me Pollyanna. What was the actress's name? Haley Mills, that was in the original Parent Trap back in the late 70s. She was in a movie called Pollyanna, and she had like this beautiful outlook on life, like everything's beautiful. And then she falls, she has a fall and becomes paralyzed. And it's a Disney movie, but and it's probably wasn't a Disney story, but to take everything and put like a beautiful positive spin on it, that's great. But let's face it, guys, we're on this big mud ball flying around in outer space at high speeds around the sun. Sometimes you're gonna get dirty, and sometimes bad things or things that you don't like are gonna happen. I don't really believe like in bad or good, but that's taken me a long time to get to as well. So when things happen, sometimes going through it. And the other day it was the morning. It was yesterday morning. Like, my whole day was wacky, and like I was like horses were frustrating me, which doesn't ever happen. And then, Frisky didn't survive his surgery. And I'm like, man, what the heck is happening? And I was thinking about it. When are you going to Michael Singer your way through the circumstance and go, how curious that I feel like screaming at my horses or my children or my spouse or my boss or myself or God some days. And some days, I can go, and then just let it go. Right. So when are the times where you can get curious, and when are the times you just need to just unleash and let it out? How do you know when it's time for you to vent? And the only way you can know that is actually by listening to yourself and shuck aside appropriateness or anything like that. Went up to the hospital this morning to help out with the stuff that happened, the death doula, as my friend Misty would say, to just help some things out. And I sat there and watched an intelligent grown man, who come to tears over this horse, over this little miniature package of love that's so beautiful, and sometimes you just go, yeah, it's you can say that it's selfish to miss him and all of those things, but actually I think it is just an aspect of being human that's one of the most beautiful things you can experience, because you can't have light without dark, you can't have yin without yang, you can't have peanut butter without jelly, you get the idea. So to go through this and to just have a system of support. You guys, if there's anything I could say, make sure that you have a system of support. My one girlfriend has life insurance on her children, not because she's afraid they're going to die, but if something, God forbid, does happen, she has it for bereavement for herself, for time to grieve without having to grind out the work, right? To go through that process. And I'm just going to wrap. I'm not going to stay on very long today. I'm not okay. Today, I'm not okay. Everybody's like, how you doing? I'm great. I'm good. I'm outstanding. And sometimes you got to dig in and find that. And when you have to make decisions, when you have to do sure. But that cannot be your baseline. It cannot be that way all the time. And sometimes you got to let some steam out of the kettle or you will explode in one way or another. And if you don't explode, you implode. And then things like MS, fibromyalgia, Parkinson's, a mass on your spleen, bad things happen to your body when you don't explode when you need to, and you implode, and it goes inside and it creates something for yourself. So you guys, allow yourself to allow things to suck some days. Allow you, and make the most of every day, because you never know when the bus is going to stop. I had anyone here that's had a near-death experience will understand that. Anyone that has had a life extinguished too soon. Little Frisky was only 8. When little Stu died, he was 10. My brother died, he was 45. God, I'm 5 years older than my brother was when he passed away. That's too young. I'm just getting warmed up, man. I'm like a diesel engine. I'm just getting started. So when stuff like that happens, you got to know, you don't know when when it's going to happen. You don't know when that the bus is going to stop, to use Jesse Itzler's phrase. So take advantage of the day, allows life to suck and embrace every moment because it's the only thing you got, right? That moment, this moment. And if you're watching, thank you because you're entrusting me with a little bit of your time and a little bit of your bandwidth and a little bit of your attention. And hopefully this speaks to you in a way that helps you go, you know what? Carpe diem. Thank you, Dead Poet Society. Carpe diem. As I get emotional thinking about this little horse that stole my heart and stole everybody's heart that met him. These little guys, they're special. And I think and thank God for his mom, thank God for Amy and her ability to care for him to the depth that she was and have this and be the kind of stellar human being that attracted a system of support that had all the resources that you could. I'm in Wellington, Florida, guys, Mecca for some of the best. When we first got to the hospital, Amy she said it. She said, champions have walked here. Some of the best medical support in the world is 7 minutes away from my house. So find that system of support when you don't need it and give it to others so you can have it when you do need it. And I'm not saying go give so you can get, but be the kind of person that gives, because the getting is the giving. The getting is in the giving, right? And if you don't get it when you gave it, you missed it. So give something to yourself today. Allow yourself to not be okay and know that this too shall pass. I know this might be, hey, Jen, good to see you on. That's good. That's okay. Yes. Thank you. Have an amazing day, everyone. And really, truly believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and believe that this is what is meant to be. And it will change your life. It will. Thank you very much for tuning in. I go live every single Friday around the 1 o'clock hour, talking about something that is important to me and therefore hopefully important to you if you're listening. If you're watching for the first time, thank you for joining. If you're returning, welcome back. And make sure you're following me on all my channels because I put different types of everything on all my different social media channels, including my next week, my live self-discovery challenge. If you have not registered for that, you can find it pretty much anywhere on my social media, on my website, whatever. And remember to believe in yourself. Say it once again. Have a great day. Bye.